What is homeschooling? Well, according to Tamara Measl's article, Homeschooling, the Right to Choose, homeschooling is a form of child education carried out within the home rather than in any formal school structure, and is supplied and supervised solely by the child's parents. In this speech, it will discuss what is homeschooling, why parents choose to use it, the methods of homeschooling, and how it benefits the children. Parents should no longer send their children to public school. They should stay home and homeschool them. Homeschooling offers many more advantages than public school, and it's the best way to educate your children. First, let's discuss what is homeschooling and why the parents choose to use it. As it was said before, homeschooling is a form of education that is taught in the home by parents. There are a variety of reasons why parents homeschool their children instead of sending them to public or private school. The most common reason why parents homeschool children is they believe they can give their children a better education. In fact, 48.9% of parents believe that they can give their children a better education at home. 38.4% say it's for religious reasons. 25.6% say there's a poor learning environment at public schools. 16.8% say just for family reasons. 15.1% say they believe that homeschooling will create a better character for their children. And finally, 12.1% say they object to what schools teach nowadays. When parents are in charge of making the schedule for their kids, it allows it to be easier to do anything the family wants, going on vacations, any type of outing. But when adolescents go to public school, they're only allowed to miss a certain amount of days. And while being homeschooled, they can do their work any time that they please. Okay, now that we've discussed what homeschooling is and why people choose to do it for their children, we'll talk about the different methods of teaching in homeschooling. There are 5 homeschooling styles, including the traditional, classical, unschooling, unit studies, and the Charlotte Mason. The traditional style is generally like public school. You read from a textbook and work in workbooks. And this is the most familiar type of schooling. Classical is based on a trivium, which is a 3-stage teaching process. The first stage for ages 6 to 10, it's the grammar stage. It puts focus on memorizing rules of different subjects: spelling, grammar, math, science, history. The next stage is the dialect stage, which is for 10 to 12-year-olds, which highlights logical aspects of schooling. And the last stage is for 13 to 18. This is the rhetoric stage. This is the hard studies that help the students develop a clear, precise use of language. The unschooling method, it doesn't focus on the studies like normal public school. Rather, it is the interests of the students. So whatever the student wants to learn, that's what they learn in school. And the unit studies is you discuss one topic and you use it for all your subjects. So if you want to learn about polar bears, then you use polar bears in all the subjects as your main learning. And finally, the Charlotte Mason, which uses rich literature and living books rather than textbooks or dumbed-down twaddle, according to Simply Charlotte Mason 2018. A living book is written with passion, like a story, and it makes a topic come alive. A twaddle is just a way of talking down to the intelligence of a child. This British educator that designed this method believed that educators needed to respect the children and give them a broad type of education. She provided a curriculum that was generous to the study of art, music, hands-on crafts, and then the normal school subjects. According to Thomas, parents have complete control over when the day begins, when the breaks take place, how long an instructional period will last, and how the instruction will be implemented. Like I said, when the parents are in charge of these hours, the children are allowed to sleep in to get their full 8 to 10 hours of sleep. And a high number of parents responded that their routine consists of academics in the morning and then extracurricular activities in the afternoon, like activities, projects, volunteering, personal hobbies, are in the afternoon. In McReynolds' essay, she interviews a girl named Elsa. and she is homeschooled and believes in the holistic education. She says, holistic education is the natural way to learn, and that experimental learning is its essence. Actually getting to touch and feel what you're learning is what's missing inside the public schools, McReynolds. In public school, students generally start at 8:30 in the morning and get out at 3:30 p.m. And in my high school, we had 4 minutes to get between each class, and then we had a half an hour lunch break. And that was the only time we really got to socialize and get up and move ourselves. Homeschool doesn't constrain the students to a certain time limit. When the students want to get up, they get up. If the students don't want to work on math, they don't work on math. In fact, most homeschooler students graduate earlier than public schools, since they can work at their own pace. Okay, so finally, we're going to talk about how this homeschooling benefits your children. According to Michael Romanski's essay, Common Arguments About the Strengths and Limitations of Homeschooling, he states that research indicates that when parental involvement in children's education is high, students are more likely to become academically successful and reach their potential. By homeschooling their own children, parents are creating a closer parent-child bond, and they are allowing their children to reach their full potential. Homeschool children are involved in many extracurricular activities, ranging from dance class, choir, team sports, and a lot of them participate in volunteer work. There's a myth that homeschoolers are less social than public school students. That's completely false. As you just heard, they're involved in so many activities. When looking at the academic success of homeschoolers, it's hard to evaluate since there isn't a set curriculum and not all states require testing. The states that do require testing say homeschoolers tend to score higher than public school children on standardized achievement tests, advanced placement exams, the SAT, and the ACT, according to McReynolds. They actually attended college at younger ages and still receive higher GPAs than the normal college students. And according to the next graph, this is the comparison of standardized tests and students. Homeschoolers received a higher score than public school students in math, language arts, and science. Homeschoolers get a better chance of succeeding than in public schools because the parents actually care about their child's education, and not all public schools want that. They just require testing. They study for the test, they take the test, and then they keep taking tests because that's what public schools depend on, is these standardized test scores. And after speaking about how homeschoolers came about and the outstanding academic performances by students, it's clear how impressive homeschooling your children can be. So make the decision today to homeschool your children for their better future. Your children will thank you in the future, and I want to thank you for listening today. So thank you.